or CEOs of online lenders.
And to shy of just 6 billion shillings.
Wow.
And so that's quite significant. It's a record dividend for us.
It's always a pleasure to be here, and I want to say good morning to all of you. Good people. I want to call you good people because, the Green Revolution bypassed, we didn't benefit in Africa. But this Industrial Revolution, we're in it together, and we have to contribute and make a difference. That's why I call you good people. So I've already been introduced. I'm coming from the Central Bank. First, I'm very grateful to Edith for the presentation that you just made. This is a discussion we've always had many times, and I'm happy that this day has come to fruition today. So it's indeed a great honor for me to make a few remarks here, this important occasion, when we launch the digital lending guidelines for Tier 4 microfinance and money lenders. Allow me at the onset to congratulate Umra for, again, I've already said this, and all the stakeholders for this milestone. And if I just give a general observation, okay, she has mentioned about more than 30 online lenders have received licenses. So what is all this about? The digital revolution. When we're doing the laws for the Law for National Payment Systems Act, the thinking was that for us here, if you have run out of gas and you need to make supper or dinner, you should be able to go online and get some money, and that should be good. If you are what they call the mama bogas, if you are there in Nakawa selling those vegetables, you should be able to get some digital credit to kickstart the day, and at the end of the day, you should be able to pay it back. If you are a boda rider, you should be able to get some fuel, and at the end of the day, you can. So this is the thing. But so it is a double-edged thing. I know we cry a lot about money lenders, the unfair practices, but we also have to be good people on the other side. We often get these people who say, don't send me money on that line, I'm indebted. What is all this about? These are not good Ugandans. You are the good ones who are here today. And it's quite interesting that we're looking at the last mile customer, the people at the bottom of the pyramid. And today, this revolution is driving socio-economic transformation for Uganda and many developing countries. And it's aligned with the government aspirations. We have a very big informal sector. A lot of money lying there, which is not tapped. And much as speaking from the central bank, we have now licensed almost 30. We call them payment service providers, fintechs. It's not enough, even if you license 1,000, it's not enough, because that's maybe only access, but what we want is usage, beneficial usage. So beneficial usage comes when there's credit, when someone can access credit, when you can do savings, when you can get insurance, when you can perform many payment services at the comfort of your chair without having to move from one point to another. That's when we shall think whatever we're doing is as impacted and it's driving social transformation. So it is two-way, like I've said, offering protection to the consumers or the borrowers, but also to the online lenders. It provides an orderly way to enter this business and also an orderly way of exiting if you have to. So these regulations, guidelines, which we're about to launch today, will go a long way to break through the current, I would call it firefighting. It's very common when you go to the countryside, you drive along the road, then you find a writing on somebody's house, bank house. When did the bank put that house there? It can be in a very remote, isolated area, but they write bank house. house. So we need to break through these challenges, and indeed digitization has transformed every sector of our economy, and the financial sector has benefited a lot from this, bring on board those underserved and unserved segments of our population. You recall in 2009 when we started the journey of mobile money through partnership between MNOs and commercial banks, starting with Stanbic and MTN. We didn't know exactly where this was taking us, but it has helped to bring a real transformation. Just to make you know that as at December 2023, we had 43 million mobile money accounts. Of course, there's some element of double counting, but those are the accounts that exist. And 28 million of these accounts are active, meaning they are always in use in a cycle of 90 days. 28 million active. If you look at the adult population of Uganda, I know the consent age is 18, but we increasingly think it should be like 16 or 15. So that active population, if you take this 28 million and divide by 8, you find here over 90% connected Ugandans digital. Even when we do the name count, counting every national ID on a standalone basis, we still find that there are 21 million registered identity cards for mobile money. Again, this is like 90% of the productive, active population. If you look at the values, we continue to see exponential growth in these mobile money services. Just looking at 2022 and 23 December, we see nearly 40%, 38.5% growth. We are now talking about almost 20 million trillion value of mobile money turnover on a monthly basis, coming from about 14 trillion 1 year ago. You can see what kind of growth this is. We now see 6.4 billion transactions through the mobile money system, coming from 5.2. So this is like 500 million transactions monthly going through the system. So all these developments have been possible because of having an enabling regulatory framework. And of course collaboration. Edith has talked about this. A lot of collaboration with stakeholders. This is what we need, even in passing the guidelines. Now, turning to what is in the law, the NPS Act. The NPS Act, among other things, permits partnerships between credit providers and licensed payment service providers or electronic money issuers to offer credit services, but subject to approval by the central bank. So my message here to the online lenders who are present here, getting a license from Umra is a very good thing. Once you have that license, you have moved a big way, and that now qualifies you to go into partnership with MTN or Airtel and do online business, lending. So today we see a lot of these partnerships. Just to mention but a few, we see active participation of commercial banks like NCBA, KCB, GT Bank, GTB, Post Bank, ABSA. We also have this Juma World, we have Asante Financial Services, then we have this Zeno Savings and Investments, we have Salama Life, Clinic Pesa for insurance. All this is good news. Like the health insurance, with the border riders, they are so prone to, what happens on the road with border borders. They have taken over Kampala. I don't know if people drive on the road, what your experience is. There's just no road now, because they come and cover in front of you, and in the past they used to be at the side, but now they're the ones on the main road. Many accidents happen, but you can, through these platforms, say put aside just 1,000 shillings, maybe monthly, and that becomes your insurance. And if you have a problem, maybe an accident, you can be treated. So this is the benefit of digitization, and this is what we see happening. We also see that loan disbursement through mobile money or digital credit has increased. It's also growing exponentially, almost 90%, if you look at just on a quarter-to-quarter basis. And with these statistics we're still collecting, but we see a lot of promise here. We also see a lot of recoveries on these digital credits. We have gone into a number of partnerships. The recent one was with the UNCDF, where the discussion, how can we foster digital financial inclusion beyond payments? And what this has done is to align it to, we have a strategy for financial literacy, which looks at key areas like credit, looks at savings, looks at planning for old age, looking at, and all these things, insurance and so forth. But as we went through this, we realized that there are some issues, some concerns raised. Some people think that registration process is difficult and increases operational costs. Some think that the entry bar is too low, regulation is weak. We only talk about capital, but we need to have a maybe bigger requirements or bigger picture issues like governance, especially for digital lenders. We really hope that the guidelines will cover some of these gaps. There's also a concern that regulators are working in isolation, but the fact that we're here together means I'm always happy to be invited. It's a meeting of minds, and when I listen to my colleagues speak, they're the same issues, and I think I'm just almost repeating what comes in one way or another. There are no policy guidelines for digital lending. There's an issue of interface, national ID, NIRA, for KYC. This issue of data protection. This data now is the new oil. That's what they say, it's the new oil. And indeed, it's the new oil. But we have to be mindful that we have to protect. There's the Data Protection and Privacy Act. We usually hold town hall meetings. The recent one was in Mbarara, regional town hall meetings, explaining the mandate to the public. And we have always had a confrontation about issues of online lenders, and we have had to ask Umra to always send representatives to these meetings. They are very hot issues, very, very hot issues. We really hope that the regulations, the guidelines that we are discussing today and passing out will help to bridge this gap. We are happy to launch this, to be part of the launch process, and again urge Umra to continue working in collaboration with other regulatory authorities, because we need to create massive awareness to enable the public without the wrong characters who make everything look bad. So I believe that these guidelines will eventually be transformed into regulations, and where we came from 2009, we didn't have any regulations for mobile money. Along the way, we developed what we call mobile money guidelines, and nearly 10 years down the road, it paved the way for the law and regulations. So I'm convinced that this is the same direction we're going. At the bank, we have prioritized 4 things. One of them is having an adequate legal framework, and exactly that's what we're doing here, trying to have supporting guidelines and regulations. We have prioritized infrastructure, and we're working towards having a national centralized switch so that all participants in the fintech space will connect through a centralized, and that we hope will bring down the cost and charges and increase the volumes of business, and all of us will benefit from this. We believe in collaboration with the sister regulators, work with UCC, Umra, IRA, and all those other regulators. and promoting innovations. So in the bank we have what we call regulator sandbox, allow fintechs to demonstrate new products, new ideas through a controlled environment. And of course, consumer protection. You know, a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So collaboration is what we need in trying to make contributions in our respective areas. So without going far enough, I want to really first thank Umra again and congratulate you upon this milestone. I always say, if you allow me to continue talking, I can talk until the cows come back home. So let me stop here. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Makai. There is something he started with, which even new lenders are victims. How many of you have loans on Airtel? By show of hands. Feel proud. We are in a sunny season. How many of you have loans on Airtel or on MTN? And I had a very big argument with my wife 2 days ago. She told me to send her money. And I sent it to her MTN line, and she called and she said, Chama Gero, I told you, Bamanja. I said, I didn't remember. You need to pay your debts in time. See, this conversation goes as far as our bedrooms are and how far our children go to school. So this tool is not just a simple tool. It's a tool that I'm looking at every level of our lives, be it in business, be it in family, be it even among our business arenas. Allow me at this juncture to welcome Madame Stella Terakaniza, from the office, the Director of the National Personal Data Protection Office. She's in charge to make sure whatever information of yours that is online and offline is protected. So let's clap for her as she comes. You're welcome, Stella.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know where Mr. Chamagero picked that second name. My name is Stella Alibatese, and I'm the National Personal Data Protection Director, and I head the Personal Data Protection Office. The Personal Data Protection Office is an independent office that sits within the National Information Technology Authority. Many of you know it as NITA Uganda. And what we do, we implement or we oversee the implementation of the Data Protection and Privacy Act, which was passed in 2019. Now, I hope that gives a small background of who I am. The Commissioner from Ministry of Finance is a very big man, the representative of the Minister and the representative of the Permanent Secretary, the ED, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, the representative from Bank of Uganda, the Director National Payments, the ED from the Microfinance Association, the CEO of FITSPA, the representatives from the various regulated parties here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Edith Fedas, good morning.
Good morning.
Very good. I'm pleased to be here as we launch the digital lending guidelines for many reasons. As already elaborated by the previous speakers, the work that you do goes to the root of our society. The Director National Payments talked about the people who are on our, let's say, mobile money platforms. Over, which numbers did he give? 43 million mobile accounts, and of those, 28 million are active, which means that you're serving almost the entire population. Because we know if we are covering 90%, most of you, if not all, you deliver these loans through mobile money, not so? Are there any other means of delivering mobile money? It's an opportunity for me to learn, or the loans. Anyone that doesn't go through mobile money accounts? Like which ones?
I think those ones were doing online apps. They're not going through.
But still, the money still ends up into the mobile money account. Now, why did I illustrate that? It means for all these people that you're lending money to, you actually have their personal details. And because you collect their personal details, beyond the regulatory arm that Umra has over you, the Personal Data Protection Office also has a regulatory arm or purview over your activities. The main reason is because you're collecting personal data. And I also want to clarify, the Personal Data Protection Office only deals with data that identifies human beings. And that is why it's called personal data. Sometimes people think we also protect company data. No, we don't. Our law only covers that personal data. Why is it important? It's important because if someone can identify you, they can do many things. Some may be positive, some may be negative. And this personal data does not only talk about Stella, my name. You can see Mr. Chamagero gave me a very different name. And when he gave me a different name, that ceased to be me, it was someone else. So, if someone has your personal details, and this includes your mobile number, it includes your email address, it includes your address, in some cases it could also include your location details. If we use mobile apps and we enable location tracking, it means that someone who wants to harm you can actually find you. I actually believe that many of our crimes start, especially crimes that are against us as individuals, that affect us as individuals, they start by someone accessing information they shouldn't have and then misusing that information. For instance, when you look at, let's say, fraud in the banking sector, normally it starts by someone accessing my account, identifying who I am, maybe knowing I have lots of money there. Of course, they then relay this information to thieves. And the day you come and pick money from the bank, you're waylaid and maybe shot or something like that. It's very rare that a gunman will attack someone without having done some reconnaissance around that individual. So that is why the protection of personal data is very, very critical. When I come to the issue of the digital money lenders, because that's why we are here, we interface with a number of issues that affect individuals in this space. Mainly because of how you collect the personal data, but most importantly, how you utilize it, especially when things go wrong. The Director National Payments talked about, even Mr. Chamagero, Bamanj. I think it is important as a population, beyond, yes, issuing these guidelines and the digital money lenders doing the right thing, it is also important for us to educate our population. To educate them to know that when you borrow, you must pay. And it doesn't help for you to keep, shifting. And it has happened to me. We have staff who we deal with. One day you want to maybe purchase a meal from Cafe Javas, you send them money. And then they call you back and they say, I can't bring the meal. That has happened to me actually, and several times. Why can't they bring the meal? Because they were indebted to MTN. And the minute you sent them money, automatically MTN takes the money. And that is why you hear people saying, please don't use this number, use this number. But we shouldn't have that in our population. If you borrow money, you should be able to pay. Now, for us as a Personal Data Protection Office, we are mandated to receive complaints where people feel that their personal data has been misused or someone collected their data irregularly. Now, when it comes to digital money lenders, we have a number of complaints. Some of those complaints we've already raised with the ED, and many of them I know we've been working together on this. So for me, when I said hello to her this morning, I told her I'm very excited about these guidelines because they are addressing a number of issues that we've been facing. I've also gone through the guidelines and find they have addressed the critical issues we have been seeing from complaints against digital lenders submitted to us. There are a number of unethical practices in the collection of personal data and its utilization, especially where the borrower fails to pay the money. Some of the examples I can give you include those that have now been reported to us. We have an individual who has borrowed from multiple digital lenders. And I think that is something, Madam Edith, that needs to be addressed. Because I think we also need to help our population. If people are reporting to the Credit Reference Bureau and you're able to identify that this person already has 3 loans, they shouldn't be given a loan. We need to help people to help themselves. Now, what has happened when a money lender, increases the hit, she goes and borrows from another one. Of course, as the web has grown, she now has so many who are calling. And the worst is that because of the applications that you develop, some of these applications, the minute the individual downloads them, they are able to access their contact list, they are able to access their messages, they are able to access their cameras, and many other things, not so. So in this particular case, this person had the usual nude pictures and videos and the like. Of course, she didn't intend them to go out to the public. They were probably meant for her own consumption. But what the credit collector is doing, they've now picked these videos because they can access through the app. They've picked them and they are blackmailing her. We are going to release. This is an actual story, by the way. We are going to release these videos, which is unethical. Yes, you've learned she has certain rights. When you look at the purpose for which you wanted to access maybe the contact list, intended to commit another crime, because blackmail is another crime, not so, which attracts a very high penalty. Some of the other practices, Mr. Chamagero, you get into people's contact lists. Of of course, you call my mother, you call my husband, you call my children, because you see they are the ones that I call most. The one that came to us that was hilarious, one of you within the industry opened a WhatsApp group. Can you imagine? And now started discussing Stella's indebtedness. These are really, really unethical practices. And these practices are actually criminalized under the Data Protection and Privacy Act. So when Umra started developing these guidelines, we are very happy that they engaged us. So we worked very closely with them to develop these guidelines, and I can see they've adopted many of the recommendations that we gave. And for us as an office, we really love the aspect of collaborative regulation, because we understand that we need to come to you as one government. Not for me to come, then Edith comes, then the director from BOU comes. It is important that we comprehensively look at the issues that affect the industry, and then we together deal with them. So I'm very, very happy with this product, and I thank you, ED Umra, for involving us in the process. On our part, we are available to support the various organizations in developing comprehensive data protection and privacy policies and procedures within your respective organizations. We are highly digitized since we sit within NITAU, so all the information you need you'll find on our web portal, which is pdpo.go.ug. We also conduct monthly webinars where we train whoever wants to join on various aspects that you need to look at and things that you need to consider. You'll find all that content on our YouTube channel. As I conclude, I would like to congratulate Umra for issuing these guidelines and all those that supported the process. I thank you for God and my country.
Apologies, Stella. I will speak to Stella. The other names, I know we are live on TV. If your husband is watching, so I'm very apologetic about this. You know, husbands are very sensitive with their names in public, not being mentioned. So Stella was making a couple of points here, and I loved data. My request to Umra and Bank of Uganda and NITAU is to tap in the 7th pillar of our parish development model, which calls for mindset change. So this pillar, when you look at it, it aims at shifting the attitudes and behaviors towards work, development, and community engagement. Our population is extremely stubborn when it gets to payment. This is something we should not sweep under the carpet, and we say we are launching this, but we need to equally hear what is our strategy of onboarding the population to pay. The online business, lending business is a risky business. I don't know how you people sleep at night, because I will borrow money in the name of Catherine Namudu, but I'm Chamager, and I'll take off my number. And I'll call you and tell you carries Jeko, and you know you can't, but you gave me the money. So Umra, while we're having this conversation, on behalf of the population, we need to be onboarded to understand more of this. And still again hinted on something that is an equivalent of the financial card, that if I have a loan in a DFCU bank, if I go in Centenary, they say, Andrew, you still have a pending loan on the other side, so you don't qualify. Maybe that will actually help us even more better. But nonetheless, mindset change is something very, very crucial. We should be Ugandans who love to pay. And those of you who are Muslims, you know what the Quran says about this. even when you're fasting, please pay your debt. At this juncture, allow me to invite Jackie Mbabazi from the Association of the Microfinance Institutions in Uganda. Jackie has been in this business for over 20 years. She has been very steadfast at this. Let's welcome Jackie. I just stuck to Jackie, not to go.
That is revealing my age. Data privacy. A breach. Thank you so much. Other Commissioner, Financial Services Department, Mr. Bob Munene, representing the Minister, the ED Umra, the Director, National Payment Systems, BOU, the CEO FIXPA, and the Director, National Data Protection Office, MDs, CEOs, ladies and gentlemen, Umra staff, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be able to speak here today. I want to start by congratulating Umra upon this great milestone of launching the guidelines that will provide direction for digital lending. We appreciate that technology is an inevitable part of development in any sector, and therefore providing operational guidelines is vital to ensuring stability and progress. I also want to extend my sincere appreciation to the Government of Uganda for providing an enabling environment for digital financial services to thrive and therefore enhancing financial inclusion. And also to thank all the stakeholders that have contributed to these guidelines. I remember at a certain point, Umra called us to input, to give our inputs into the guidelines. We also attended a workshop organized by FIXPA where we added more input. So it's been a collaborative effort, and we actually want to thank Umra that it's been a collaborative effort. So that means that it will be easier implemented by all the other stakeholders. So I guess some people are wondering what AMFU is doing here when this is for digital lenders, but our members, while they are not typical digital lenders in per se, but they have also adopted digital financial services to be able to provide more options for their customers. And so these guidelines are very much applicable to them as they implement this other part of their operations. But at the association, with our members, we recognize the fact that it's a journey. So for some of the customers that we deal with, we recognize that it's a journey that we must actually walk slowly with our customers. And so for us, we still require the use of both the physical and the technology. However, we recognize that the world is progressing towards a certain direction that the sector will not be left behind on. During COVID, there was a real recognition of the need for institutions to have various options that they can use to be able to reach their customers. And this is something that we are also promoting with our members to be able to do this. However, at AMFU, we carried out a study because after we had encouraged our members to provide different solutions and also use technology, go digital, they came to complain that they have established these platforms, invested lots of money, but the uptake is very low. Their customers do not want to actually use them, and they were getting apprehensive that they have probably made a terrible business decision. And so we carried out a study to find out why we thought that this would actually be an opportunity for the customers, but they are not using it. And so the findings showed that quite a number of issues, but one of the issues that came out, some of the issues that came out strongly was the transaction costs using especially mobile money, which were higher than if a customer had access to a branch that she can take a border of 2,000 shillings and go and collect her loan and come back and use a total of like 4,000 shillings, and then to withdraw 1,000,000 shillings, and then on mobile money should be required to part with about 17,000 shillings. So for them, they felt this was a big hindrance in terms of uptake and usage of that platform. Then there was, of course, the attitude of the customers who, as we said, you must walk the journey with them. You talked about attitude change in the PDM, but the attitude change should not only be about paying, but also using technology. This is a new thing for most of the customers of MFIs, and to just dump it on them is also a big challenge. They need to be mentored and handheld for them to be able to accept the processes, because most of them thought actually it's for land people. We will not be able to operate this. It is for land people. Or there was the fear of, if I'm paying my loan and I don't get a physical receipt, and I send my money and I don't get an e-receipt either, how will I prove that I have paid in case they come and tell me that they didn't receive? Which takes me to the third one, that was the issue of no clear complaints handling system when there was an issue of disagreement in terms of a loan disbursed or a saving made using the digital platform. Because of so many players, most customers said they would be tossed around to the MNO, to the financial institution, to the regulator, and so there was no clear system for them to follow when they had a complaint. And so we looked at the issues that came out, and of course drew a strategy for digital literacy, first of all, which was the low-hanging fruit for us to be able to encourage more on this usage. And we'll want to work with the regulator on issues of cost. Let us see how to unpack this cost. What is making that cost that high that it is actually becoming prohibitive? Is there anything that government can do to support this by reducing this cost? When you compare with other channels like going to the ATM or going to a bank agent, the cost of withdrawing money from an MTN, from mobile money is almost 3 times some of these. So I request that we will be able, government to give us an ear. We work with the regulator to unpack this cost, because it is prohibitive, and we see how we can deal with it. And as I end my remarks, the other issue that we have kind of put aside that we found was another big barrier was the issue of the mobile money agents who are not trained. So issues of customer protection, they are not aware. So you would find that the mobile money agents are easily sharing personal data of the customer. Someone comes to withdraw money and there is a man behind who has been eyeing her for some time, and then asks the mobile money, the agent, what is her number, and she will release the number without knowing the implication of actually releasing that number. So issues of transparency in pricing, there was a complaint on asking for more money for a transaction more than what is actually stipulated in the chart of costs, and the mobile money agents are an inevitable part in this process. So as stakeholders in this area, I think that is another issue that we should start to look at. While we have given a lot of some effort in digital literacy, not a lot, but some effort at least has begun, there is a way these have been left behind. But I understand the bank agents, for them, they go through a certain type of training, some level at least, and so they understand these issues. But these others, someone is gotten from the village, is given a phone, go and start transacting. And now these people have become the face of the financial institutions. So when a customer has a problem, they will not blame the agent, they will go straight to the financial institution that has encouraged them to go to the agent to transact. So I've already made the request, so let me not repeat myself. And just once again, thank Umra for these guidelines. We know that they will be able to provide a correct direction for the institutions as they deal in the digital financial services space. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jackie. The conversation is ongoing and we're live on Smart TV this morning. So, in case you didn't disclose where you are today, we are in a Lent season and we're in Ramadan. Those at home and online to watch you. We're going to hear from Ziana from the FinTech world, the Financial Technology Service Providers Association. Maybe she'll expound more on the challenges and the gaps and what needs to be bridged to make this very seamless. You're welcome, Ziana.
A very good morning to you all. Commissioner Microfinance, Executive Director, Bank of Uganda, Executive Director, Umra, Director, National Personal Data Protection Unit, the ED, AMFIL, Directors of Umra, staff of Umra, CEOs and founders of the fintech companies here present, a very good morning. Today I come with peace. All the times I've been interacting with Umra lately haven't, but I come with peace today and I come with a smile. And I see my members are also smiling, so can we clap for Umra before I start speaking? It's been a journey with Umra. And today we are here to give you your flowers. Congratulations on getting to this milestone. I know it's been a journey, not just for our members or for us as an association, but also for you. We know what you're going through as Umra, and we are looking for you. Whatever you're going through, God will see you through. Yes. And this journey with Umra, the digital lender, started at the beginning of last year. And we've had several engagements with Umra, and my members can confirm, on how do we build a safe and regulated ecosystem of Uganda that really favors everyone, the businessman, the digital lenders, the consumer, the ecosystem, the economy. How does Uganda benefit, and how do we work how does everyone win? And that is what I believe Umra is fighting for. How do we all win? And today is really an appreciation message for Umra, that really we have Umra and the minister. Really, this journey, it's not just Umra. Umra has been working this journey with the ministry, and we're really working hand in hand to address the recent concerns. We've had concerns as digital lenders, and I think today all our concerns have been addressed. We're just ticking boxes. Our members have been licensed. Half of our members have been licensed, and those that haven't been licensed are in the process of getting licensed. But above all, we now have guidelines. Even the licensing, we're like, okay, what are they licensing them against? What criteria should they follow? What is their code of conduct at Umra? So now that they have a code of conduct, I think it's easy for Umra to really supervise them, manage them, but also to know who is a good digital lender and who is a bad digital lender. Without that description, we're all lost. both the regulator, the users, and the consumer. But now you're going to stand, dear businessmen, you're now going to stand straight and say, I'm licensed by Umra because I have been vetted, my business is clean, it's clear, and it's to the guidelines. We will share, I'm sure once the launch is done, we'll share copies with you all. Umra will share copies with you all, and to know where you stand. And at FITSPA, our job is to make you understand what does this phase in the guideline look like, to help you understand it. We'll probably do other training sessions to help you understand the guidelines further once they are launched. Umra, as we continue to work together to build a profitable and safe lending ecosystem, we and our members have a couple of tasks to request from you and the minister. I know some of them have already been ticked as of today, but there are things we think need to be addressed for us to have a safe and profitable ecosystem. One of them is being, we all know the bad tomatoes. Why don't we pick them out? Why don't they block them? Why don't we shame them? Why don't we put them to book? Because one bad tomato is spoiling the rest, and also the consumers are using that as an advantage. Because everyone says, oh, so-and-so is doing this, I can also do it. But if you streamline and say, these are the good tomatoes, they're on the Umra website, and the bad ones have been blacklisted, if you work with them, it's at your own risk. The other one is defining digital lending. And the guidelines are already here, so we are going to fully define who is a digital lender. Because we see some of our members, some have apps, but there are people that are lenders that use the guidelines they're using the digital channel to just send money to the borrower or receive money from the borrower. Is that a digital lender? So I'm hoping that the guidelines are going to help us define who is a digital lender and who can we work with. To date, we have 25 digital lenders, which is with the association, and some who are just working with the payment service providers just to get money to the end user. So I don't know if those are digital lenders, but with your guidelines, we'll be able to understand that. And I think our members, most of them are looking for that definition to know where they fall. The other one, infrastructure cost. In our last conversations, we've been talking about the cost of transaction. Digital lenders are very expensive, lower your costs. But to the minister, the commission, and Umra is, without us working on the infrastructure, the railways that the digital lenders use to reduce those costs of transactions, there is no way, because also they are doing a business, they're in business. How do we work on our infrastructure to reduce that cost that the digital lenders used for us to be able to now negotiate further with the digital lenders to say, okay, now we have these caps. Between this and this, you're not allowed to. Because remember, they are working in a very risk business, that their payments they're only profitable like at 50%, most of them. But it's a risk they're willing to take, even less. Someone is laughing. Yeah, so I think if you work on their cost of operations, reduce that will help them a lot. The other one is, how do we work and to build a general CRB switch? Why am I saying this? The CRBs that are in the house right now only have, say, information from the bankers, people that give them the information. I'm not sure if they have information from the telecoms to the online money lenders, information from the local money lenders. How do we build a switch that has everyone? Because now people are not even going to the commercial banks to borrow money. They are borrowing from the money loan sharks, from everyone else, and that confuses. So by the time you give someone a loan, you don't even know how deep they are in debt, and you do. So we need, I think, a national switch, and I think that's something we can address in the working groups, because we are lying to ourselves saying we have CRBs that are tracking everyone's. No, people are borrowing from my neighbor, from everyone else. So if I'm a neighbor and I need to be able to check how deep is this guy in debt before I give him my money. Even a landlord, before this person even comes to my home, to my house, how can I give him my house before? I need to check his I think it will help the public a lot, and also the businessmen. I think our final request, because we know that you have a secure file transfer portal, so we are asking Umra, how do you create a secure file transfer portal to allow members submit their credit information? So it's not just one way. Can they submit through that? Is it secure? Can they submit their information through that? And I think the last one, I don't know if you have any plans of having a sandbox for digital lenders at Umra, where members can come in and test their product before they go to market. Because I think also digital lending has become the easiest business for someone to, I have my 10 million, no, what can I do? Let me go and become a lender, let me borrow money. So it's become a very easy business for anyone to do. But before they do that, can you test them out? Can they have a proof of concept? Can you vet them? Can you, like you can borrow a leaf from the National Payment System Act, where they have a sandbox where people go and test their products, and then they fully go into licensing. That's another ask. Members, if I've left out any, please come and whisper. This is the opportunity to shine. Who is FITSPA? I don't know how many of you in the room, besides my members, know about FITSPA. FITSPA is the Association of Fintechs in Uganda. We currently have 211 members with 25 digital lenders. So we've classified our members. We have members doing licensed by BOU. We have members licensed by Umra, members licensed by IRA, Insurance Regulatory Authority, Financial Intelligence Authority, UCC, Uganda Communications Commission, NITAU. So we all are members. We work with over 7 regulators, and we've classified, grouped them into subgroups, so we're able to support them at their point of need, and also support them with their regulatory requirements. Because you can be a big group and then we forget what is your pain point as a member of FITSPA. So we try to cluster our members into the different groups. And they also serve different sectors. They're in the agriculture, health, education, the payment space, blockchain, so different sectors. But it's a marketplace for everyone to come and really thrive. Most of them that come to FITSPA come to thrive and really to scale their businesses, to network, to meet the regulator. So we have a community that has everyone there. One of the things we do is we support our members to comply with regulatory requirements, really, and we are the voice. We voice their concerns to the different government stakeholders, regulators, ministers. Sometimes we're even forced to go to parliament, but yes, it's just for you as how do we really represent and advocate for our members, especially if it's, because even us, we also have, our goal is to build a safe and regulatory ecosystem. So we have to think about what the member is requesting for. Is it going to build this economy? Is it just a request from a selfish member? We also think, we reason, we debate, we have committees, subcommittees, we have a board, and if it really serves everyone, the entire ecosystem, then we're able to fight for it. As in conclusion, I just want to, again, to thank Umra for, first of all, giving FITSPA the opportunity to, you know, when people say stakeholder engagement, some of them just come, present, and they say, leave and go. You're not allowed to contribute to the engagement. But we've been going back and forth. We'd even write letters to Umra, and Umra responds. They respond with a call. They say, okay, come and we meet now. What do you need? And we have this relationship with them. So we really want to congratulate you on this, and we seek to work together in creating and enabling a regulatory and business environment that supports digital lenders to grow their businesses without disruption of the bad actors. really. And we look forward for productive engagements and partnerships going forward. And to the digital lenders, please trust the regulator. They're in this for the economy, so it's nothing personal. We will work together with you to see that we are, and everyone is learning on this journey. I am learning, the regulator is learning, you're also learning, and you, the beauty about you're the expert in this. So we have to learn from you to create the regulations. So please participate in these engagements. When they call you to review, please participate, because you understand the business better than the regulator and better than us who support the secretariat. We thank you so much and wish you a wonderful day.
It was a fintech conversation, and I want to appreciate you for that, Ziana. Ladies and gentlemen, if you came and you have questions, later we shall have a little bit of interaction because we still have time. There's some issues Ziana was alluding to, that in case there is something you've left out, please come and whisper to me. It's that level of inclusion, but we shall have that. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to allow me to welcome the representative of the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury, as well as representing the Minister of State for Finance and Economic Development, that is in the microfinance, Commissioner Munene Bob, to come and address us. Let's welcome government. Now this is the real government.
The ED Umra, the Director National Payments, the Director National Personal Data Protection, the ED Amofio, the CEO FITSPA. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm here to present the Permanent Secretary Treasury, and also represent the Minister in charge of microfinance. My name is Bob Munene. I'm an Assistant Commissioner, Financial Services Department, and I'm also representing my Commissioner. Good morning. I'll read the Minister's speech as it is. I'm pleased to welcome you all in this meeting to discuss matters relating to digital lending and most specifically to the launch of digital lending guidelines for Tier 4 microfinance institutions and lenders. I appreciate the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority for developing these guidelines and for organizing this event. As you remember, last month we were here discussing issues of lenders, and we agreed that we needed to better understand the role played by digital lending in this sector. We are all aware of the potential of digital technology for improving access to credit and financial inclusion. Government's use of the Wendy White for the Parish Development Model is an excellent example. Wendy will help us reach the last mile beneficiaries effectively and efficiently. The PDM funds have been dispersed via Wendy and helping to boost the financial inclusion in Uganda. The digital lending platforms have the capacity to reach and serve populations across Uganda, including those in remote areas, with quick and convenient access to financial services. Through innovative approaches, digital lenders can extend services to individuals who have been traditionally using the formal banking sector. It is important to note that government has a duty to protect customers from exploitation. Unfortunately, we had concerning stories of predatory lending involving digital credit providers. The digital lending practices must prioritize fairness, transparency, respect for borrowers' rights. By harnessing the benefits of the digital innovation while maintaining ethical standards, we can truly unlock the full potential of digital lending to drive inclusive economic growth, prosperity for all Ugandans. Should we find that borrowers are being exploited by predatory online lending, then will not hesitate to act. Drawing from the mandate of Umra, Uganda Microfinance Institutions and Lenders Act 2016, Umra is tasked with regulating the entire Tier 4 financial sector, comprising of savings, credit cooperatives, societies, non-deposit taking microfinance institutions, help groups, and money lenders. We will ensure all forms of lending in the sector are effectively supervised and regulated. All lenders, both digital and traditional, have a duty to act responsibly and take pride in their work. It's up to all of us to uphold the high standards and serve Ugandans faithfully. I therefore ask you to work with us to ensure the guidelines are followed and the sector runs smoothly. Any lender that engages in predatory lending damages the sector's reputation. Work with us to root out and help the ethical lenders to survive. In conclusion, I want to stress this government's commitment to growing financial inclusion, reducing access to barriers to credit, and I hope that digital lenders and borrowers are ready to play their part in serving our country. I thank you for God and my country.
Let's appreciate Mr. Bob Nene. Before we launch, there's some questions that are coming from the members, especially those in the digital space of this business. We're going to have a Q&A for a couple of minutes, and then we shall have the launch, and then we shall have the signing, and then we shall go for lunch. It's a hot day, so we want to make it as brief as it can be. So you're going to raise up your hand, you mention your name, if possible you mention your company, any space is a space for selling, and to whom your question is going to. Let us be very civil. If you feel a little bit agitated and angered, you can just write it on a paper and I will read it for you. Because we're live on TV and anything can be blown out of proportions. So we'll start by show of hands. Who has a question? Okay. Let me request the microphone to reach the gentleman. A team from Umra to help me on that. A microphone to reach him. Okay, there is a microphone and roaming there. You kindly tell us your name. I would love to know what your company is. You never know, I could borrow from you if your interests are good. There you go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chamagero, and Umra, and the distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the panel. My name is Munda Brian, and I am with Criota. Criota is a digital lender, though we are not yet part of this panel. We cater mostly to We have different products, but our main is for border riders. Though we also have a loan management system for the businesses, which are here called loan tabs. You can see me after. My question, so that's to say.
Correct.
My question, and it's a bit, it has a long preamble, I hope you will bear with me. And it is addressed to both the Data Protection Office, but also Umra. And that is with the guidelines. Now, Mr. Chamagero, in many of his online talks, has encouraged men to read and be knowledgeable.
Correct.
So in this regard, I want to refer to what is known as a perverse incentive. Now, asking questions before we read the guidelines is a bit preemptive, but I hope I haven't jumped the gun. So, by creating, and there's been a lot of outcry about the lenders who call people, and I hope the guidelines are not reactionary as a result.
The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda, the taste of Uganda, yeah,
and we are go for extraction.
Max Verstappen takes the lead.
Carry a world of entertainment with you wherever you go with DSTV Stream.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living, fit for the royalty that you are.